Happy Shanksgiving! So Gorn has already released another update, back-to-back months, which is crazy. I'm very pleased. This one is much smaller than the Halloween one. It's just got like a little game mode that we'll talk about, and some extra stuff. So this is going to be less of like a commentary and more of just like a little overview of the update. And as with the Halloween update, I will put the video of me playing the update in the description. It is a little shorter, and a lot of it is just kind of me fighting, and it's a little boring, but if you want to see that, there it is. So in the hub now, there is a large turkey head, or it's a chicken, but with a pilgrim hat, and the game mode is called Stuff 'em Up in the game, but in the patch notes they call it Turkey Hunt, which is strange. But we'll go with Stuff 'em Up. The turkey opens its mouth and it makes some sort of throat noises, and then when you click play, it eats you, which is, I mean, the effect isn't perfect, but it's a lot more interesting than just another Portal, so I applaud them for doing something different there. And then the game mode itself, this is more of a critique of just the chicken enemies themselves. I just don't really like them at all. So the update, I barely got the gun, and then I just, that was it for me. It's permanent Bikibu mode, so one hit and you're done. And you need 35 chicken kills to unlock the gun. And by the way, this is a time-limited game mode, so you can only unlock the gun for this little bit. So if you don't unlock the gun, it's gonna be gone forever. But if you do unlock it, you'll have it forever. And you start this mode with a fork and knife. Those are permanent. They'll just be in the game for free for everyone. But they are comic. Like the knife is like this big. It is very, very large. And I kind of wish it was just a normal sized fork and knife. I think that would have been way funnier. I want them to be basically useless, but it would just be fun. So that, if Cortopia is watching this, that's my request. And then the gun itself, from what I could tell, there is no ammo to it. It just goes, and that's very, very busted. But I mean, you do unlock it through Bikibu mode, so it is kind of a golden weapon equivalent. So I don't really mind it being overpowered. But it is very, very powerful. And then also, as a side note, you can eat hearts now. I feel like I've seen a lot of clips of people stabbing hearts out of Rukibe, and then they try to eat it, because for some reason that's just the natural response in a VR game when you have a heart in your hand. You're just like, oh, can I eat this? So I'm glad you can now. It doesn't do anything. It's just for fun, but that's a little fun addition. I like it. And as for what's advertised for this update, that's about it. It's not nearly as much content as the Halloween update, but this is what I thought the Halloween update was going to be, and then the Halloween update blew my expectations away, which was amazing. But this, I don't want this to feel lesser because the Halloween update was so good. So this is a perfectly acceptable seasonal event. It is weird that it's time limited. I don't know why they did that, other than just it might entice people to play the game more, because they're like, oh, I gotta play it now because it'll be gone. But apart from that, I don't exactly know why they would make the gun time limited. On the trailer for this update, I left a comment joking about like, oh, I can't wait to think about the lore implications of a Thanksgiving kind of holiday in the Gorn universe. But I definitely don't think that's what's happening here. I'm pretty sure this whole thing is not canon. It's just, if it does have any canonness to it, maybe Alimta Alvuta who's putting on a little special game for you. And that's probably the end of it. However, as for lore, there was one detail that is interesting. So previously in this little like barracks kind of room, you had a rock behind you. You see me like, that's why I look backwards, because I was looking for the rock and now it's gone. And what it said on the rock was Odbe Od something, which means others not something. And the something part either meant dust or remember. If it was others not dust, dust is kind of in the quote from the prisoner in Gorn 1 about reincarnation. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe this society doesn't reincarnate, or maybe they didn't used to, or they do it differently, like they don't turn into dust, they just go like straight somewhere else. I don't know the exact interpretation I would have if that were to be the case, especially because, you know, we know they reincarnated. We have the little reincarnation pool. Though I don't know how them coming back to life as skeletons would fit into that, because I guess would their bones go into the soil or just their skin? Or since skeletons can be reincarnated, you would think their soul is more tied to their bones than their skin. So I don't know about that interpretation, but the others not forget interpretation is a lot more interesting, because it's, you know, kind of implying the others, which, by the way, this Gorn 2 society is called frequently by Bekirud, as the others. So the others not forgetting the events of Gorn 1 would be interesting, because that's kind of the whole theme here, is that this new society has forgotten everything about the old one, and they forgot who they were and who they're supposed to be and what their language means, the importance of it. And so I'm 90% sure that's what that read as. But it's interesting both that, one, that's gone, and two, there is a new set of symbols in that room, and it's not out of the way behind you, it's actually front and center. You kind of can't even get to the weapons without seeing it. And this time it's others something all. And the something in the middle, I don't have the symbol for it, but I know the symbol contains ro, ki, and od. And the only words that I can make out of that are oroki od, kirud, kiodro, odroki, and odkiro. I have the symbol for all of those, but it doesn't look exactly like any of those. But it's definitely not orokiod, kiodro, or odroki. The symbols for those words look vastly different than the one here, so it's not those. It could be kirud, though in kirud, so this is like ro, this is ki, this is ro, this is ki. They kind of like touch in the middle, but they don't here. And also the ends of ro and ki touch the ends of od, but not here. So maybe if they were like, whoever wrote this was in a rush, they weren't able to connect everything. So maybe it could be kirud, which means I just speak or to listen. But I think more likely it's odkiro. Hold on, slight amendment. It turns out I do not have the symbol for odkiro, but I do have the symbol for odkiroim and odkirobe. Odkiroim looks actually like kiodro, but with an im underneath it. But odkirobe does look similar to this symbol. If you just remove the be, it looks like it could be the same. And if it is, you just gotta move the ro and the ki apart a little bit, and they'd be nearly identical. So I do think odkiro is the word here, but it is still possible. It could be a word combination I don't even know. So we can't be 100% sure, but it is probably odkiro. Odkiro can mean secret, make, or blind, and I'm heavily leaning towards blind. And it would mean others, blind, all, which would make sense. It would follow the same kind of narrative of like, maybe the Alimtas remember the old Gorn society, but all the Rokibe, the normal citizens don't. And the Alimtas are masking the truth. They are blinding everyone to what happened before. That's interesting. That piece of information is interesting, but it is information that we kind of already had. That was the assumption. It wasn't clear whether everyone forgot the Gorn 1 society or if it was the Alimtas were hiding it. This definitely gives the vibe that they're hiding it and they didn't just forget it, which is more interesting, but I don't exactly know what the benefit would be. In Gorn 1, there was more of an emphasis around your connection to your language, but in Gorn 2, the Gorn language is kind of treated as like lesser. Like if you speak that, you're stupid. You don't speak the Alimta language, the god language. Maybe that's part of it, and maybe it's also in Gorn 1, Alimta, I mean, he was like an evil king, but the way that he treats the spectators, it seems like it's more of an elected king, where he still has to keep up the facade of like, everything's fair and I don't entirely rule over you, I'm just your king. So maybe they just don't want you to remember that the Gorn 1 society was maybe a little better. Not entirely sure, but it is interesting, just at a base level, it is interesting to know that it seems the Gorn 2 Alimtas do remember what happened, they just choose to hide it for whatever reason. So that's about the only super interesting thing that came out of this update. Again, I am happy that we're getting updates. Anything we can get, I'm here for it. I know there will be at least one more update because Cortopia said that they did not release the music for the Fight of the Living Dead update because they're going to release it with more music later on in a different update. But this update has no original music. The song that plays in the Stuff 'em Up game mode is just Food Feast, which is from the Alvuta arena. We will be getting at least one more update, which is cool. And I am still really hoping that it is like a Gorn 1 style update. And the fact that they added those little symbols that are referring to the others not forgetting, or, you know, the others hiding stuff about the past. It seems like maybe they're trying to allude to the idea of like, oh, maybe we're gonna get some old stuff. Maybe the veil will be lifted for a little bit and the people will see what used to be. I don't know where they're going with this, but I really hope it goes somewhere, and I really hope that we get some Gorn 1 stuff back. Like, could you imagine if they had even like a paid DLC? I'd pay for it. If it was like minimum 3 levels of like a separate original Gorn mini story, and maybe level 1 is in like the level 1 arena from Gorn 1, the small arena, and then level 2 big arena, level 3 deathbit arena, and your enemy is either a Limpta or like, I don't know, Bekirud. Bekirud is trying to put the pieces back together, and for whatever reason you stop him. Or maybe you play as Bekirud and it's like in the past or something, and you're trying to stop a Limpta, but maybe you need food and you have to submit to him in some way. Or it could be like Gorn 2 protagonist versus Gorn 1 protagonist, like what's his name? Kimbe versus Alimno Kyodim, which is something I mentioned that in the VOD. I don't think anyone would be excited about that except for me and maybe a couple of other people on the Gorn Discord who would even know what I'm talking about right now. It's literally anything they do. I am so ready for it. I will be here to support whatever I can. Thank you, Cortopia, for this lovely update. I hope we get more. And again, happy Shanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And I am very excited to see what comes next.